Hello my friends, welcome back to another watercolor tutorial. Today we're painting another pumpkin because I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood for fall and pumpkins and everything whimsical. So this is going to be a pumpkin and we're gonna have this hopefully beautiful border that goes around it. So I'm gonna sketch out the border simply because I have a habit of really messing things up when I don't pre-sketch them out. And it's gonna be a little whimsical vine that kind of does a bunch of these little loops and there's offshoots and other things that are, and you wanna make it uneven. Sorry, if it wasn't self-explanatory, make sure you sketch out your pumpkin in the middle first. There's so many different like shapes of pumpkins and so on, so I'm not gonna waste time on the tutorials showing you how I'm drawing a pumpkin, because you can simply just look it up. You can look up a silhouette and trace it if that's easier for you. Lots of options. I'm gonna have a vine that overlaps. Something like that. That might be too much, hold on. Maybe we can have some of it that goes off the page. That would be fun. That would add whimsy. And do we do it on the whole page? I have to go tell my husband something because he just finished putting, he just put our toddler down for a nap, and I am simultaneously making apples, no, not applesauce, my God, no more apple things. I have made, I think I said this in a previous tutorial, but so many jars of applesauce, apple crisp, apple chips, apple leather. I'm appled out. I'm making tomato sauce now. And I need to tell him to stir the pot because otherwise it'll likely burn. But he went outside and I have no idea where he went. Oh, he's at the chicken coop. Okay. So once you're done sketching out your whimsy, oh, that looks so good. I kind of just want to leave it like this. All right, tutorial's done. Okay, so we're gonna just start with the pumpkin. I'm gonna leave the sketch lines in there. I know in tutorials past, I used to be like a big proponent of erase your pencil marks as much as you can, but over the last several months, I have been leaving them more and more, and especially in paintings like this one, which are supposed to be more, how would I put this, homesteady. They've been actually working to my advantage, so I've been leaving them. So I'm taking orange and yellow, and I'm gonna try out this eggshell orange that I have. It's basically the same as the yellow, almost. Okay, one thing I want you to keep in mind when you're painting, if your paper dries quickly because either you're not using 100% cotton paper, since any non 100% cotton paper just tends to hold water less efficiently and it dries much quicker. Make sure you add the shadow parts of your pumpkin as you go. Otherwise it'll dry and not look great by the end. So I do have 100% cotton paper, but I don't know if it's just the humidity in my house that is so low that the paper is just drying much quicker than I'm used to. So I'm gonna just go ahead and what is that sound? I think my husband is trying to Skype someone. Will I ever have peace and quiet in this house to film? My one regret with this house when we were building it, can you even hear them? Is not putting sound insulation in the office wall. We put it in the kids' bedrooms, like the 2 extra bedrooms, because one is right beside the living room and then the other one is in between a bedroom and a laundry room. And you know, when baby number 2 comes and subsequent children, it will just be way easier to what will it be easier to do? I mean, it'll just be nicer if we don't hear absolutely everything, or they don't hear absolutely everything. And that's the issue that I'm having in the office right now. This office, there's no sound insulation and I can hear everything through these walls. I don't know what's up with that. And it would have been such an easy thing to add, but I've never lived in a house that had sound insulation, so I don't know why it's so much more echoey in this house, but it's really not ideal. I'm not a fan of how much noise transpires or transfers into this room. So get sound insulation, that's my conclusion. I'm adding black here because I'm seeing that the brown is not sufficient enough for what I want to do. And perhaps I'm being a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? Focused, hyper-focused on these little details, but with pumpkins, I feel like they look so, you have the ability to make them so pretty and whimsical, so why not just take the extra effort to do that? These are the kind of paintings I really enjoy painting. I think I struggle most in the summer. Obviously, other than the reason that it's summer and you don't want to be inside painting, you want to be outside having fun and all the other things that keep me busy during the summer, but it's just the content is so boring. For me, I should preface, for me it is boring. I don't enjoy painting flowers. I don't enjoy painting like summer landscapes in general because they're just so bland. Like it's just the same thing over and over again. And whereas autumn, it's just such a warm and cozy season. It's the season of painting, I feel. so it's a lot easier for me to sit down and crack out a bunch of tutorials at once. So thank goodness I mean, it's currently September, but I'm into painting mid-October paintings, so we are all about autumn right now. And this weekend I'm feeling extra inspired to really finish all of the painting that I wanted to finish. No, it's not, what am I saying? It's definitely not going to be everything. I would just be sitting here the entire time. But I think I counted, I have about 30 tutorials that I need to do, that I need to pre-paint. And if I could do 8 of them this weekend, that would be huge. I'm the kind of person where I can't relax and do relaxing tasks and activities if I know that I have like this looming ongoing task in my head. I want to just cross it off and finish it. So I was really surprised when I had to paint 40 ornaments that I was actually able to divvy it out and paint 4 a day instead of doing like all of them in 2 days, which is what I've always done in years past when I've had a big ornament order. And then it just feels, I can't seem to focus on any other task when I have that over my head, looming over my head. It's all I can think about, like, oh, I have this big order I have to finish. And I have that feeling with these tutorials. I just can't gain peace because I'm thinking the whole time that this needs to be done. So it would be nice if I could just get it done and then focused on the things that bring me a little bit more peace. So speaking of that, I have all this glue gun glue all over me, but it's like that stringy stuff. I don't know if you can see that. It feels like a spider web is all over me. I was gluing real acorns to this beautiful wreath that I made. Oh, I wish I could show you this wreath. You know what? Remind me, if I haven't posted it by the time this tutorial comes out, my lovely patrons, I will post it on my Patreon along with my other fall inspired photos of life around my forest. That's another, I don't want to call it a tradition because that seems really pretentious, but one thing I really enjoy doing every year is creating this album, this collection of photos from living life through autumn every single year, because it's such an easy season to be picturesque with. Like, it's very easy to take aesthetic photos in the fall because everything's so colorful and gorgeous, and I feel very fortunate that we live where we do because I can very easily go for a canoe ride, a casual canoe ride, and just take a super aesthetic photo with the fall colors because that's just where I live. And so to my friends that live in the city, which is most people, they're always like, whoa. And then I'm like, why don't you come visit me? And they never do. And then anyway. So yes, I really have a habit of going on an unrelated tangent, eh? One of my hobbies, in quotes, is creating an autumn album that I share with friends. So that's also on my list of things, is to remember to snap photos, because I've definitely grown out of that phase of my life. I think most people grow out of that phase when they hit their late 20s, early 30s, where they're like, yeah, why am I taking pictures of absolutely everything in my life? It's very unnecessary. If you're still in that phase, that's okay. I'm just saying that I naturally grew out of that phase. Thank goodness, because that takes up so much energy when you're like, oh, I need to document everything and then I need to post it everywhere. Whereas when you just live your life, or when you ask someone to take a picture, you're asking them to take the picture because you just want that memory. You don't care what it looks like. And I look back at that time in my life with embarrassment, my early 20s, especially when I traveled a lot. I was like so obsessed with getting the perfect travel shot. And the amount of time I wasted on that, I'm a little scared to admit. Okay. So we need to also do this part back here behind the pumpkin. So these little bumps. And then we're going to take brown mixed with a bit of black, and we're going to paint the peduncle. I think that's what it's called. Thank you to, who was it? Norway John, I think it was, that looked that up for me. The peduncle. I hope I am remembering that word correctly and that it's being pronounced correctly. Now I'm going to turn it into a bit of a green peduncle. So this one is not quite fully dried up because we want to give this whimsy and color, remember. That's the goal. That's my goal. You can just go with the brown to make it easier if you wish to do so. think I'm gonna switch to a liner brush here to make this part a little bit easier. So as you paint the peduncle, as it moves along the peduncle, you want to make it thinner and thinner. That's what will make it extra whimsical, I believe. Have a little tendril hanging off here. I am a fan so far. It looks great to me. Lately, I've been really impressed with myself, and I'm trying to say that as humbly as I can. I don't want to sound pretentious or full of myself or whatever, but I'm usually really critical and annoyed and frustrated at my capabilities, that it didn't turn out the way I was envisioning at all, and it seems to be a pattern. It happens so often in my videos that I've just become accustomed to being unhappy with what I've painted. But lately, and maybe it's just because it's, you know, autumn themed tutorials, but I've been so pleasantly surprised and happy with the results of my paintings that I think it's a good thing to acknowledge. So I'm extending the peduncle part and adding these dark veins to the pumpkin, or to the creases between each section. Helps separate it a little bit, but you really want to make them nice and thin. Okay, I might add some white highlights here later on when this dries, but for now I'm going to leave it and move on to the other the whimsical parts of this. So I forgot to mention, this is inspired by Atelier de Crel. This sounds very French. I will just write it in the description. And she had like orange vines, but I think I'm going to make mine all green because it matches the color of the tendrils and the peduncle. And I can always make it, like, go over it if I find that the green does not work. for my purposes. But you really want to use a nice thin brush here because you want these to be hairline thin on the ends, and you can make them a little bit thicker as you go along. But the ends where there's twists and turns and stuff, what will make it extra whimsical is that it's nice and thin. So if you're not the best at that, that's okay. Just, you can always practice on a separate piece of paper, or you know what, it might just be your brush. It totally might be your brush. I could not achieve these thin of lines using, for example, this size 8 round brush. If it was a new size 8 round brush, possibly, because then the point is usually nice and, or the tip is very pointy, but that brush has been used to smithereens for completely the wrong purposes, simply because that's just what I wanted to do at the moment. But like, don't stipple with that kind of a brush. There are brushes that are specifically made for stippling. I will continue to stipple with it, just FYI. I need to go check on my tomato sauce, if I'm being honest. I went and told my husband I had to like stop the video and restart it, but I went and asked him to stir it every 5 minutes. But it's getting to a point where it's almost ready to be jarred, to be canned, and water bathed. I will add more tendrils to some of these points. Right now I just want to get kind of the bulk down. Also, don't worry about following your pencil lines exactly, because you can always erase them, like the ones that you didn't go over. And it's easier, it's way better for your painting or the look of your painting to follow the natural curve that your brush is going than trying to stay within what you've penciled in. I'm not too happy with that loop. I don't know. what went on there. Okay. So now we can add the little tendrils and things that are going to make it extra whimsical. So in the reference painting that I got this idea from, she had leaves growing from all of these. They don't really look like pumpkin leaves to me, but, and maybe that wasn't the intention, I don't know. But I'm not sure I want to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure that I want to do that. So instead, I'm going to try and add these little whimsical tendrils, and they should be like really zigzaggy and all over the place, not like I've painted them here. So kind of more like this is a much more natural look. But if you want to just make them twirls like that, you're also welcome to do that. It's your painting, do whatever you want. And I have a habit of overdoing these things, like painting way too much. So just keep that in mind when you're painting yours. Like, I'm gonna have a darker one coming from the pumpkin itself, like the peduncle, somewhere from here. I think I shouldn't have added that because there's way too many around here. Okay, I'm gonna think about what to add on the rest of this vine because it does feel to me like I'm missing something, but I need a little bit of time to process that and think about it. So in the meantime, I'm going to do some highlights on the pumpkin to make it a little bit more realistic and such. So for instance, I'm gonna take green or white if you don't have like a nice bright green, and just add, actually, sorry, let me switch to lime green here. Add some lines to the stem. And you can add some of these to your pumpkin as well. For instance, I want some really bright areas on my pumpkin. So I'm going to take white mixed with a bit of yellow. And highlight those edges where I want a bunch of light to hit. I don't know why I'm doing this with a liner brush, but use the appropriate brush. And then when that dries, I'm probably gonna take some acrylic paint and just do lines on top. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. These whimsical loops should be dry, I'm hoping. So I'm just gonna quickly erase the pencil guide for myself to not take away from what I'm looking at, because I still want to do something with that. I just don't know what yet. Oh, there's still some here. Oh, I love this pumpkin. It's so cute. It's so happy. I do want to make, oh, not that dark, but I wanted to make these sections here a little darker. Okay, I think I'm gonna add little leaves because it's missing a little pop of color. The vine part, I mean. So if I add little leaves coming from it, it might help. And you can add as many, I don't know if I said this already, but you can add as many or as little leaves as you want, or if you liked it the way it is, you don't have to add any leaves. I'm trying to be sparing with my leaves because, like I said many times already, I overdo things. I just keep going, and then at the end I'm like, why did I do that? It looked perfectly fine the way it was. So use your judgment is what I'm saying here. You can even add little orange offshoots, although that's exactly what I'm talking about. That might be just overdoing it. So I do want to connect the leaves though. Oh, that is really cute. I'm so satisfied lately. It's been a good few tutorials. I'm taking white acrylic paint and I'm just gonna add, like I said, some white highlight blotches to parts of the pumpkin. I'm also tempted to take black watercolor here and just add tiny little lines or whatever to these leaves so that they're not flat looking, like there's a little bit of dimension to them. And I think I'm gonna just pause it there because I'm pretty happy with this. So let me know what you guys thought about this one. Please check out my Patreon if that is something you're interested in. There's exclusive content on there. It would really help support me, especially for those that are like, please don't stop painting. Well, this is how you can help support me to help me keep going, to make this financially worthwhile for me. But no pressure. Obviously, I appreciate all views on this platform. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.